Hello, this is Heather from Twist My Stitch. Today I'll be showing you how to work the Asymmetric Awareness and Hope shawl. This video will be demonstrating rows 1 through 6. However, the pattern is in a series of repeats, not necessarily in 1 through 6 order. If you would like to make a full-size version of this pattern, please see the description below. I will post a link to where you can purchase the PDF download. This particular pattern can be worked in any weight yarn you choose. The pink yarn is a worsted weight number 4, and the gray is a fine weight number 2 yarn. You just need to adjust the hook size and gauge accordingly to the yarn that you choose. The video hereafter will be in this fine weight number 2 yarn. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with the foundation chain. You're going to start with a slip knot. I take my hook and I go up underneath the yarn and twist it around like so, and it creates kind of a little knot looking thing. And then start my chain. You're going to do a foundation chain of 24 for this swatch. Pause the video until you get 24 chains on your hook, and then we'll start with row 1. So now that you've gotten 24 chains on your hook, you're going to chain 2 and turn. I prefer to work into the back ridge of my chain. So if you see the V's on the front, just flip it over and you see the little bumps on the back. You're going to work into the bumps, that little space right there in the bumps on the back. I'm going to switch my hook because I crochet really tight and I need to have my foundation chain in a larger gauge than the remainder of my work. So I'm going to chain 2 and half double crochet in the back bump on the back of the chain in the 3rd stitch from the hook. So insert into the back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. Continue working the half double crochet in the back bump all the way through the remainder of the row, the chain. Go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so here we are at the end of row 1. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I work into this alternative to a slip knot. When you turn this chain over, you can see the V's on this side, and then you turn it back this way and you can see those bumps or the ridge that we've been working into. We're going to work into that stitch just like we have all the others. I'm just going to work right in through here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. It looks a little loose when you first work through it, then you can just pull that tight and weave in this end. What this does is it leaves a nice finished edge versus a knot here. I don't like the look of the knot, and that's why I simply choose this alternative method. Let me know what you think of this alternative method. If you use it, thumbs up. If you don't, no worries. Just let me know which way you prefer. Now you're going to chain 3 and turn. This row is a treble crochet row. You're going to yarn over twice, and the treble crochet consists of 3 stitches in the row that we're working into, but our first sequence of treble crochets, we're going to skip the first 2 stitches, then we're going to be working into these 3 stitches. Okay, so inserting your hook into the 5th stitch you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, yarn over twice. Then we're going to be working into this stitch, which is the first stitch skipped of the treble crochet sequence. So we're working into these 3 stitches. These are the first 2 stitches that were skipped in the row. These are the 3 stitches in the treble crochet sequence. We're going to be working behind that treble crochet and then in through the front of that first skipped stitch. Sorry, I always hit the camera on that. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's our first X stitch made. As you can see, the first treble crochet that was made in the row is loose from the second treble crochet that is sitting in the back. And there's a skipped stitch in between the 2. So we have a skipped stitch here and our chain 1 here. So now we're going to work the treble crochet, the basic treble crochet without skipping any additional stitches at the beginning of the row. So we're going to yarn over twice, skip 2 stitches, insert into the 3rd stitch, and work your treble crochet, pull up the loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1, yarn over twice, insert your hook in, go behind the treble crochet you just made and insert your hook into the first skipped stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's your second X stitch made. Continue working the X stitch until you have 1 stitch remaining. Now that I've worked through the end of row 2, I'm at the last stitch of row 2. I'm going to yarn over twice and make 1 treble crochet into this last stitch. We're going to chain 1 and turn. You're going to single crochet in the treble crochet of the last row. So insert your hook for a single crochet. Now you're going to skip this treble crochet and working into the chain 1 space of the X stitch. You're going to do 3 single crochet into that chain 1 space. So that's what that looks like. Single crochet into the treble crochet and working 3 single crochet into the chain 1 space of the X stitch. You're going to continue working 3 single crochet into the chain 1 space of the X stitch all the way till you get to the end of the row. So that's what that looks like. Continue working that sequence till you get to the last stitch remaining. So we've just completed 3 single crochet into the chain 1 space of each treble crochet. Now we have 1 stitch that we are going to work at the end of the row. We are going to work this last stitch single crochet into the last treble crochet of the row. And there you have it. This row is highly important if you skip a stitch or get too many stitches in these X stitches, or if you too few stitches in this X stitch, the next rows thereafter are going to be off. So take a look at this row and make sure that you have 3 single crochet in each chain 1 space of the X stitch. You're going to have a single crochet into the first treble crochet and a single crochet into the last treble crochet. This is my decreasing side, so I'm going to, for my next row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to yarn over, and we're going to work half double crochet, back loop only, front loop only, all through this entire row. You're going to skip the first 2 stitches, so you're going to skip the first stitch, skip the next stitch, and work into the 3rd stitch. You see the V's there in the 3rd stitch. You're going to yarn over and insert your hook between those V's and grab only the back loop of that stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Next stitch is going to be in the front loop only, yarn over and grab just the front loop, going through the front of the stitch and up through the middle of the stitch, grabbing just the front loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Next stitch is going to be a back loop only. Yarn over, insert through the middle of the stitch, grab the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Front loop only, grabbing just the front loop of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Continue alternating back loop only, front loop only, till you have 1 stitch left. And I'll meet you at the end of the row. So we've got to the end of row 4. I have 2 stitches remaining. We're going to work the half double crochet. The last stitch is worked through both loops, but we want to make sure that the stitch before the last stitch is worked front loop only. Then the last stitch of the row is actually worked through both loops, a normal half double crochet. So you're going to insert your hook as normal and work a half double crochet. Making sure that last stitch of the row is worked through both loops. The last stitch of the row worked through both loops makes this ending stitch more secure than if you work through either the front loop or the back loop. We're going to chain 2 and turn. So we're going to insert our first stitch, yarn over, insert into the back loop only of the very first stitch, and front loop only of the next stitch. You're going to continue working back loop only, front loop only, until 2 stitches remain. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I am now at the end of row 5 and I have 2 stitches remaining. I'm going to work into the front loop of this stitch and both loops of this stitch. So this is going to be a half double crochet 2 together, and it's a little bit different than a standard half double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to enter into the front loop of this stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now, without yarning over again, I'm going to insert through both of the loops of that last stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, and pull through all 4 loops on the hook. Chain 1, since this is going to be my decreasing edge, and turn. Now row 6 is essentially exactly the same as row 4, except row 4 you skip the first 2 stitches, and row 6 you're only going to skip the first stitch. So now I'm going to work into the back loop only of that stitch. And front loop only of the following stitch. Continue working back loop only, front loop only, until you get to the end of the row. So here I am at the end of row 6. I have 2 stitches remaining. I'm going to work this stitch front loop and this stitch through both loops. Okay, so there you have it. I have worked rows 1 through 6. I'm going to go ahead and place a stitch marker here at the decreasing side of row 6, which is the beginning of row 6, so that I can count my repeats thereafter. Much easier than if I didn't have a stitch marker there. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment or a message, whatever works best for you. And you can pause this video, skip through, whatever makes it easiest for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.